Get 10% off all VeVe, Ecomi, and Omi merch at CavellAnderson.com using the code Christmas10. Our primary line will always be available, while our limited edition section will only ever have 100 items total and will never be sold again. Get it while supplies last. Yo, what is going on, y'all? I'm Cavell Anderson, and we are back with another VeVe and Ecomi video, man. And this one, we are going to be checking out a price prediction. It should be pretty interesting. Before we jump into it, obviously, I've taken some time off. Your boy is back in full effect. I actually got a kidney infection, so I had to take antibiotics, be on a lot of water and stuff like that, and just get a lot of bed rest because I was feeling pretty terrible. So yeah, it actually got worse. I know my last video, I wasn't feeling the best throughout that video, and yeah, it just progressively got worse. But your boy is back. I know that there's a lot that's been happening in the community. A lot of exciting things, a lot of bullish news. It was an interesting day where everybody woke up and was billionaires and trillionaires, trillionaires for a few seconds. At least it just looked like we were. But I mean, yeah, so that was pretty interesting. That was hilarious. I was getting tagged all over the place on that day. Yeah, it's just been a lot going on, and I'm very, very bullish about this project as always. It's just, yeah, I got to get back into the swing of things. So let me know some of the stuff that I've missed that you all think that I should check out. Some content. I'll probably react to some other creators to get back into things and see what I've missed out on. And then, yeah, I mean, regular content will be resuming. Like, I mean, you know, as I see some things, as I want to touch on some topics and stuff like that. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of questions around the community and stuff that I'm going to address as well. I've been seeing some concerns and stuff like that as well. So those are going to be addressed as well. That being said, be sure to drop that thumbs up, subscribe, turn on notifications to stay updated with everything going on. And yeah, let's jump into it. We're going to jump into this price prediction. These are always interesting. I take price predictions like this, especially based off technical analysis, with a grain of salt. Like, technical analysis doesn't make sense. Technical analysis, you have to understand, when it comes down to technical analysis, is based off of history. When there's something that has never been done in the history of the world, it makes absolutely no sense that you can come to the correct conclusion based off of history when something does not have any history. So keep that in mind when you watch technical analysis. A lot of people would agree, oh, this looks right to me, that looks about right. And usually these people are always wrong, because it's, you know, it's impossible to predict something that has never happened before. So yeah, keep that in mind. All technical analysis is done with a grain of salt, in my opinion. But I mean, it's definitely some people out here that I respect some of the things that they say when it comes down to technical analysis. It makes sense. It definitely makes sense. It makes sense from a certain perspective, but it makes sense if you understand going into it that it don't make sense. I guess when I say it makes sense, it makes sense. It makes as much sense as it could possibly make. It's like for some people, when they do it, it makes that's how I feel about it. It makes as much sense as it could possibly make.
Here we are in Ecomi. Now, it's not been around long. It kind of just rode this wave of kind of the NFT market, and we've seen a significant dip and a recovery. That recovery is strong, and as you'll note today, even after this big dip, we didn't really decrease in price that much, which is great for the coin. And we're going against the market right now, showing strength and just setting, you know, pushing up these green candles.
Ecomi has a history of going against the market. If you don't know that, this is one of the reasons that technical analysis does not work on this project, in my opinion. Obviously, some people can get close with their technical analysis, but you just never know. At any point in time, they can do something that technical analysis cannot predict, and the technical analysis will blow up.
So really, really looking strong for Ecomi, or Omi. I'm not sure what you prefer me to say. I'm going to get into a price prediction today.
And also, let me explain how technical analysis works as well. Like, because it honestly is very similar to what I do, except for I use fundamental data and I use numbers of where the space as a whole is going to move. What technical analysis does is that if one thing happens, okay, here's the chart. If one thing happens, if you see one pattern, that means that there's a chance that it can go down. If it goes down, it could potentially go to certain levels, but there's also the chance that this pattern could be wrong and it could go up as well. And if it goes up, these are the level it goes up. So this is why people live and die by technical analysis, because technically anything is possible. Even if you have a price prediction, that's just your most likely thing to happen. That's just it's the most likely thing to happen, as opposed to anything can still happen. So the technical analysis is really just people try to find as many indicators as possible to basically say, okay, this is a sign that is going down, that's a sign that is going down, and that's a sign. So okay, this is three signs that is going down. It must be going down, and that's how people do technical analysis. That's what most people do. Um, I mean, it can have its uses for sure. I personally, I've never dove into that game as much. Like living and dying by that game is a dangerous game for sure. I've been a long-term investor for a while. I do want to get into it a little bit more and try to play it because I am really good at learning and self-teaching and stuff like that. But yeah. Anyway, just thought those of you who don't know much about technical analysis would want to understand how people come up with these predictions to begin with. And it is a similar approach that I take. I just use fundamental analysis and I don't use charts or anything like that. I use common sense. So yeah, it's a similar approach.
So let's stop shuffling the screen around and let's get into it, shall we? So if we put our fibs on, our fibs will show us a projection for the top of the market. And I would say that this is going to come when after the altcoins have had their run. Now, typically when the altcoins have had their run and the price starts to drop on, let's say on the Ethereum blockchain, for NFTs, the gas prices go down and purchases go through the roof with NFTs. So in knowing that, we can see that if we're following Bitcoin and we follow Bitcoin as it goes up, comes down, and then in this retracement, once we see this retracement hit the 0.702 Fibonacci extension, at that point, we can start looking at, okay, is the market starting to drop? And if it is, you know, where's Ecomi at? Because Ecomi is likely going to have strength when Ethereum doesn't have strength. That's one thing key to know. And just to see what Ethereum's doing today, is Ethereum going up today as well? Ethereum has marginally gone up today, but Ecomi has obviously outperformed that quite a lot. So let's look at the price predictions here for Omi, or Ecomi, and we can see that we have to the top of these Fibonacci extensions from today, we have a nice tidy little 665% growth. That would bring this coin up from today's price, which is 0.0066 cents, all the way up to a 0.05 cents. So that means 5 cents is the top of Omi. Now, if 5 cents is the top of Omi, and obviously my typical advice.
So this seems like, I mean, I don't know if he means the top for this year or the top for like what time frame. But yeah, I mean, we usually hear numbers like this when people say it's the top, but I mean, it's been proven that technical analysis has been wrong. And the thing is, when you have a token that's based around the business, if the business isn't moving as fast as you thought it would move, or certain things happen, like for instance, everybody thought we were going to get between 5 to 10 cents by the end of this year. But then Immutable took so long, and you can't count on Immutable not being ready to handle. I mean, well, obviously you could probably guess that they wouldn't be able to handle it, but I mean, you thought that things was going to go a lot faster when it comes down to Immutable, which definitely slowed things up, which stopped us from getting on exchanges. We also were basing our prediction off and this is why I lean more towards fundamental analysis to begin with, because my predictions for the price was based off of having things like exchanges, like depending on what exchanges we had and stuff like that. So I feel like each catalyst is going to give us a boost. And we don't know what type of boost to expect from which catalyst if we have never seen these catalysts before. This is why fundamental, at this current stage of the Omi token, fundamental analysis is much more reliable, in my opinion, than technical analysis, because technical analysis does not give you enough information. You can watch charts, you can watch numbers, you can do all of that, but it's not going to give you as much detail and accuracy as actually understanding what every single catalyst does, how it impacts the price of the Omi token and what people are looking forward to. Because what you'll notice about the Omi token is what moves the Omi token for the most part is things related to the Omi token, like exchange rumors and stuff like that, that really boosts the price of the Omi token. But once we have these connections, this utility where you can buy NFTs using the Omi token, we're going to be seeing a boost in the value of the Omi token as well. So it's going to start behaving even different than it behaves right now. Once we have that link between VeVe, who sells out of everything for the most part, and yeah, it's just gonna, things are gonna move differently. So it's going to be some, like, expectations. You don't set expectations based around technical analysis, in my opinion. It's more than likely going to be wrong. That's just my advice. Not financial advice, of course, but that's just something that appears to be common sense to me personally. But yeah, you know,
even though it's not financial advice, but if I was in it, I would be letting go of my bags of Omi at around this point. These two lines. So anywhere between these two lines is where I'd be letting go. So anywhere between.
So my man just said he's letting go of his bags at 5 cents. He's letting go of his bags at 5 cents. Yeah. So this is why I say technical analysis is it. This is why I don't live and die by technical analysis, because it's just stuff that makes absolutely no sense. If you like, I don't know what the market cap on that is, but it's like, what, a few billion or something. Like that would be a couple billion market cap, like maybe 10 billion, 20 billion, something like that. Like, come on now. Like, I don't know what, like I said, this is a multi-trillion dollar industry right now. And this is just the beginning of it. And also the metaverse industry in itself is going to be another multi-trillion dollar industry. Metaverses are going to be multi-trillion dollar industries, and NFTs is as well. So factoring that in, having the best of both worlds, having a functioning business that sells out of everything, and then having a crypto side of things as well. It's just a lot of factors and variables that's not being considered when you do technical analysis. And I mean, you can't really say the technical analysis and the person who's doing what they're trained to do is wrong for doing it. It's just, it's illogical and it's ridiculous at certain points.
Between the 4 cent and the 5 cent mark for Omi is where I would be letting go. Now, we know that when the bear market comes, these coins, just like Omi, are going to see huge decreases in price.
He says we know that these coins are going to see a huge decrease in price. We're speculating that we're going to see these coins and stuff is going to see a huge decrease in price. We're speculating that a bear market is coming. We're speculating that everything is going to be hit by it. And it's a lot of speculating going on here based off of a very small history, because crypto is new. There's no set history that's been going on for 50, 60, 100 years or something like that, where, okay, this is a pattern that definitely always happens. There's nothing that's actually been established and in cement when it comes down to crypto. So yeah, I mean, like I said, all this is with a grain of salt. Yeah,
I'm talking 97%. So when we see a 97% from here, where does that actually take us in terms of price action? 97% would take us all the way back to previous all-time lows, actually just above previous all-time lows, which is a real possibility. I would not discount this as a possibility. But if we were to see maybe a 95% increase, would take us right down to here. These might be areas that you're more comfortable in setting buy orders at. So anywhere between the 0.001 cent mark and the 0.002 cent mark might be good areas to buy in.
Or something logical that could very well happen during a bear market as well is, once we have that link towards the Omi token and VeVe, something that could happen is during a bear market, they could release a major brand, and that would impact the price of Omi, which then could have the Omi token basically going viral during the bear market. And because it's a bear market, everything else is looking bad. The news reveal of some big brand, for instance, Pokemon, would literally be sparking so high and flying so high that everyone in the crypto space would be focusing on the Omi token, and it could start trending and going viral, similar to something that you saw with Dogecoin previously. So, I mean, it's very speculative, but just as much as the technical analysis is speculative. It depends on which speculation makes more sense to you as the investor. It's your job to know what you believe and understand and have what makes sense to you. If looking at these charts and stuff like that is what makes sense to you, then you have to stand to your strategy. But it is important to have a strategy. My strategy, I don't really rely on charts. I don't rely on this type of data, this type of information, because it's really unimportant. I feel like my predictions and my calls are usually right because I stand on the fundamentals. I literally understand. I try to learn as much as possible about how each catalyst is going to impact my investment. And I feel like that gives me a solid footing when it comes down to being where I am with my investment. So
after this cycle has had its run, because for now we're going to get, what did I say, between kind of 550 to 660% growth from today. If we did look at the next cycle, and this is quite speculative, so really take this with a pinch of salt. If we did hit in between my two price targets here, and we did come down right in between my two price targets on the lower end, what would we be looking at as a 2025 projection? Well, it would actually be right up here, almost hitting that 20-cent mark. 19 cents would be the top of Omi in 2025.
He just said 19 cents would be the top of Omi in 2025. At this point, this is where I stopped watching the video. This is why I don't take technical analysis serious. This is absolutely why I don't take it serious. And not to say that this guy is good at what he does. I mean, I have no idea. This is my first time seeing him. But yeah, this is, it doesn't logically make sense. So if something goes against logic, like I know that technical analysis, there's not enough information to do it and do it well at this current stage. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Let me know what you all think in the comment section down below. I know that there are a lot of people who are going to believe things like this. A lot of people believe in stuff like this because this is just what some people are trained to do. Luckily, my training's better. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Like, that's the thing with me. I can just wait and let time do its thing and let time show people, oh, I couldn't factor this into my technical analysis. I never saw that coming. You mean to tell me this whole time you didn't realize you never saw something that never happened in the history of the world coming? Like, who would have thought you wouldn't be able to see that coming on your charts? But anyway, that's pretty much it, yo. Your boy is back. Time to wreak some havoc on this community. Nah, but yeah, I'm gonna be back, man. I'm gonna be dropping some content. We're gonna be diving into more stuff like this. I mean, this was an interesting video to come back to. But yeah, let me know y'all thoughts. Be sure to drop that thumbs up, subscribe, turn on notifications so you stay updated. And yeah, I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. Peace out, Joe.